Okay, hello and welcome to this weather outlook video as we talk about this winter storm. Look at what the country is. I mean, everything east of the almost everything east of the Rockies is under some kind of winter weather advisory, except for the extreme southeast, like Florida. So you could see the cold warnings, extreme cold warnings up in the north. And also up in northern New York and northern New England. And then we have cold weather advisories and winter storm watches. And then as you go closer here, you got winter storm warnings, ice storm warnings, and extreme cold watches as well, all the way down to Texas. So, yeah, this is the kind of cold we are dealing with and the kind of storm that we are dealing with here. Before we get started, we're going to just look at the briefing from the National Weather Service about this storm here that we're going to be facing here. Winter storm watch is in effect. Heavy snow, possibly wintry mix late Saturday night into Monday. Prepare for a significant winter storm. High probability of 6 inches plus with moderate possibility of 12-inch plus snowfall. High confidence exists in a prolonged period of frigid conditions Friday night into the middle of next week. So the snow is not going anywhere. It's going to be very cold. Real Arctic air is going to get into the area. Snowfall rates up to 2 inches an hour Sunday into Sunday night possible for New York City Metro and Long Island. All right. So that's what we're facing. And the winds could be north gusts up to 25 Sunday into Monday. The question is, will we possibly need a blizzard warning for this storm? This is their event total forecast. It's a little on the high side. They have it at 14 or 15 inches. I hope not, because that's not going to be going anywhere for a long time. Onset time, 7 a.m. Sunday for the East End, 6 a.m. Sunday for the rest of Long Island. And we also got the frigid temperatures, too. We're talking about low temperatures, single digits in the interior, around 10 for the coast. And wind chills feeling like 10 below, and high temperatures remaining well below freezing for this. And these are some of these wind chill forecasts. Friday night, it's going to feel like it's below zero. Today was a warm tease, and it is going to get much colder in a hurry when this Arctic front passes. So let's go over what today's weather is, today's little one-day reprieve from the bitter cold. We're going to be right back into it before you know it. 37 now at Islip. We've got west winds, generally west winds, mostly west winds, and wow, somehow they're getting radiational cooling in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River. They're down to 28, which is unbelievable. West Hampton is not seeing that at all. So temperatures are in the low 40s. And I guess that's not too much off the alley. Well, it is a little bit. The alley's close to 44. So, and we had plenty of clouds around today, though we did get to see the moon for a little bit tonight, crescent moon. Looking at the satellite, you can see those high clouds that have been kind of stuck over us, a lot of jet chunk going on. So let's go look at the high temperatures today, because you're not going to see these kind of numbers for a very long time. Upper 40s, 48 at Islip, so mostly around 48 across Long Island and New York City. And above 50 in Toms River, 52 for a high there. So quite warm. And the low temperatures, nothing that impressive except for that low that we see currently in Toms River at 28 degrees, getting a little radiational cooling there. Other than that, this is the last time you're going to see temperatures this warm for a very long time. So we are entering the deep freeze. Sometimes they use the word polar vortex. Polar vortex isn't really diving down that far south, because if it was, it would push the storms to the south. But it's diving down enough that we're going to be dealing with these frigid conditions. This is the CONUS view, and you see the issue that we have. So we have the Arctic air coming down here, but you notice it's not going straight down, and that's part of the issue. It's not pushing the storm down like we were originally hoping for on the weekend. And you can see the storm taking shape over the west coast. Let's take a look at these U.S. Pacific coast. And here's the storm right here. You can see it right here. That area of circulation. It is moving almost southward. So you would think, well, maybe it would get suppressed. That would be nice, but it's not It's not likely given the jet stream configuration. You got to remember, this storm is going to regenerate east of the Rockies. So let's go to our climate statistics for today at Islip, and again, it'll be the last time you'll see numbers this warm for quite a while. High of 48, which is 9 degrees above normal. The low of 39, which is a whopping 15 degrees above normal, putting us 13 degrees above normal for the day. So that is what we are. That's the last time we're going to see temperatures this warm for a while. Looking at the weather map, you see we already have a cold front coming through. This is just a Canadian polar front, but this is the Arctic front that's going to come through tomorrow afternoon, and that is where you're going to be dealing with some absolutely frigid, bone-chilling air, the kind of air mass we haven't seen in a little while. You know, we are overdue for a big storm. We haven't had a storm in a while, as much as I don't like it. It is part of winter, and also this it is also good for the snowpack and the lakes and the ecosystem in the Pine Barrens. So even if we've got to deal with a lot of inconvenience, it will be good for the pines, and that's really what matters. You know, I'm willing to deal with being inconvenienced for the pines, so they can get a little reprieve. This cold is going to kill off the beetles, as well as the snow will help hydrate the soils in the Pine Barrens and bring those lakes back that have been disappearing for a while. Part of the reason we haven't seen those kettle hole lakes in the Pine Barrens here, they've been drying up, is because there hasn't been a lot. Those lakes are basically fill up from snowpack. So if there's not much snow, that's why we've had very low lake levels the past couple of years. So hopefully this will help replenish them. So anyway, I'm showing you the temperatures here, and you can see, look at some of these temperatures here, like 14 below. So these are the kind of temperatures you're dealing with here. Not going to see anything quite that extreme here, but how about 21 below in North Dakota there? That is absolutely bone-chilling frigid. It looks like we do have -8. I'm going to see what that red is. That's a blizzard warning. So some of these areas will be under blizzard warnings. I don't see any blizzard warnings for our area yet. Do see a winter storm warning up for this part area here. That might just be due to lake effect, not due to the storm. But you see the cold coming. So let's go look at the models here, and again, you see, we'll go to day 2 here, first of all, and you can see there's the Arctic front passing through tomorrow. And then Saturday, you can see there's just big, huge storm that's just covering like a good part of the country. And a lot of areas are going to be dealing with ice, and that's going to cause a lot of power outages. Hopefully that does not happen here. Look, I'll take 15 inches of snow over an inch of ice any day. All right. The ice is way, way, way worse, especially if that snow is powdery. So we look at the winter weather probabilities as well. Probability, we can go through this as well and show you what this has. You can see the impacts here on this map. Here's day 3. This is Sunday. And you can see we're at a really good probability of winter weather here. And that's going to linker into Monday too, by the way. And then finally, I think, what day is this? Our day 1 is today. Day 2 is Friday. I don't know why they have us on Saturday. We're not getting any precipitation, but I guess they're counting the cold weather probably with that. I'm not sure exactly. But there's Sunday. There's Monday. So you can see we're still dealing with some of the impacts of that. So I don't know why they have us in that for Saturday, because we're not going to see any precipitation on Saturday. Not sure about that. But if we go to the QPF, it's another way of looking at the precipitation. You can see the precipitation from the storm tracking it as it moves on out. So anyway, well, let's go look at the models here. We have the 18Z GFS, which I'm going to start with. Okay, so there's that high pressure building down, that big Arctic high pressure, which we were hoping would squash the storm. And actually, there's one thing I want to actually do here for a moment. I want to just take a sounding in the center of that high pressure system here, all right, and see what the temperature is, if there's a strong inversion. It looks like there actually is an inversion here. So this is very interesting. It's a shallow, cold air. And that shallowness may be part of the reason why it can't push the storm to the south. I want to go back and I want to look at the run from Sunday and see if it looks any different. It does look a little different. Yeah, we don't see that. So the cold air is not as deep, and that's not, the high is not as, that has a 1050 high, and then we go to this one here, and the high is 1046. So it's a little weaker. It's just enough that this storm can't get suppressed, basically. So anyway, that Arctic high pressure builds down tomorrow, and you can see that Arctic high We're dry Saturday. Tomorrow and Saturday we're dry, but it's going to turn colder. And that high, you can see what happens here. Here's the storm, the GFS on the 18Z run here. And you can see the snow starting in the morning in Jersey and then working its way up. And you can see this big area of icing here. That purple's actually sleet. And then I think south of that's the freezing rain. But you see this area of ice here. All right. And then we go, and you can see that there's the track of the low. And it keeps Long Island in the snow pretty much for the whole event. And it also has a much larger meandering. I mean, this thing is going to last Sunday into Monday. It's not even going to taper off until later Monday, according to the GFS. So with this type of situation, you know we would get a lot of snow from that particular type of situation. And it does have some icing over Jersey, in the southern part of Jersey, though we would avoid that scenario. But still, it would give us a lot of snow with that particular setup. All right. It would be a huge snowfall for our area. All right. That's the GFS, which has been inconsistent. All right. Let's go to the European now. So this is the European model. Similar deal as your high pressure system. All right. European's a little faster with bringing the snow in. You'll notice. It has the low a little further to the north as well. Gets us into the heavy snow Sunday. And then you can see it brings that low track and it gets us mixing a little bit here toward the end. So the Euro has been consistent on bringing in mixing, and that would hold down totals, but I'm concerned about the surface air temperatures. We're going to look at that as well. And then that low eventually pulls away quicker on Monday, so we're not having to deal with the storm. So the GFS obviously has a bigger storm and a much bigger snow impact. European not as much. Let's go to the icon next. And we don't have enough of the 0Z icon, I think. Let's see if we do. We do have some of it. Okay, so this is the 0Z icon out to 18Z. That's it. That's all we've got. But it has the snow. Let's go compare it to the... Looks pretty similar to the old run. Let's only compare it where it is. I mean... Yeah, it looks pretty similar to the 18Z run. Now, the icon takes this thing a little further to the north and changes us over to rain, and that would give us less snow. It would change us over to rain Sunday night. That would give us less snow, and then it moves it out just for flurries on Monday. All right? So those are like the three different models here and how they... We'll take a closer look now at these models. So first starting with the icon here, and you see there's the snow, and you can see it changes to rain Sunday afternoon and then gets us into... brings in a lot of rainfall, but don't be fooled by this. All right, because you say it's raining, but my concern here is it has it as regular rain, but look at what the temperatures are. They're around freezing. So that's my concern here, that we have temperatures around freezing, and that could mean freezing rain. So that is a concern for icing, and that's why I'm a little concerned with that particular scenario. All right, so if you go to the total snowfall accumulation here, you'll see that for Long Island, it basically gives us basically around 6 inches, which isn't terrible. All right, and the same for Jersey, and then to the north and west, the numbers go higher. All right, now let's show you the GFS here. The GFS is much higher. So this is the GFS, and it's over a foot, pretty much, so like 12 to 16 inches here. This is the GFS. All right. Now, I'm not giving any numbers yet. As I said before, I'm still going to stick with, I think, 6 to 12 inches at this point. But I'm not making a map because it's too soon for that. All right? So this is the high-end totals. This is the GFS, because the GFS, if we look at the storm track, it has it mainly staying to the south. And that would keep Long Island in all snow. And it also is a longer duration event, meaning it does start a little bit later, but it goes all the way into part of Monday. And then eventually slowly tapers off. So this is the GFS being much longer duration and a much bigger storm for whatever reason. It seems like it's a much bigger storm. And European, this is the European model. All right, so the European here comes in, and the snow, again, heavy in the morning in Jersey, and then makes its way heavy snow in the afternoon for us. And then toward the evening, you get the tapering off as a little bit of mixing there. All right, and that's the European. But then it does give us a little bit of wraparound on Monday. Not a tremendous amount, but a little bit. So it all depends. You have all these different scenarios with these models. I want to go and look at one of the parameter here. Can we do it with this one? Yeah. 700 to 300 relative humidity. I want to see the moisture here. So you see what happens here Friday. You see that, and then you see the moisture that's coming in from the Pacific that it will also grab from the Gulf as well and just kind of throws it into the cold air. Basically, so you see that dark green there. That's a lot of moisture that this storm has. And then by Monday, you see that it starts drying out. Now, we compare that to the GFS, which is probably going to look different. You see the GFS has a bit of a different profile here. And that moisture is, you can see there that it still leaves the storm seems a little more intense on the GFS because it will redevelop into a coastal low, and that's, even though this low is not a classic coastal low, it is a little stronger with it, so that would help also. So you got more moisture. We're going to actually look at the total accumulated precip now with the GFS. This is the total amount of liquid, not snowfall. But you'll see here that it produces 1 to 1.5 inches of liquid for our liquid equivalent. So if you do the math and you do 10 to 1, then yeah, you're talking about 10 to 15 inches of snow. However, with colder air, it's going to be fluffier, so we've got to add more, like maybe 8. The high end would be 18 inches of snow. That's why some people are putting the high end up that far. I'm not considering that at this moment. The European, on the other hand, a little less moisture. And it has liquid equivalents of around an inch. So a little bit less moisture on the European. The icon, and again, that is not, we have to use the 18Z run. The icon here showing a little bit higher amounts, actually. But more of that might fall as rain, according to the icon. All right? So, again, we're going to go back to this thing here. All right, so you see this here. All right, so there's your temperature profile right there. And my concern is that there would be surface temperatures near freezing. We have to look at the wind direction. If the wind's coming easterly off the ocean, then it probably could get the temperatures above freezing. But if it's more northeasterly, then it's going to have more trouble. This, I don't think this includes the wind direction here. Not really. It doesn't include the wind direction. But again, these temperatures here are borderline. And then we can compare the temperatures to the European, similar to the icon with the temperature profile. And it does get Jersey above freezing, by the way, the European, for sure. So they would definitely be mixing over there, perhaps. But if we go to the GFS, GFS is further south. And so that would keep more of us in the snow. So those are the 3 different models that we have to look at here. There are AI models as well. I really don't want to use those because they've been kind of unstable. So now we're going to go and look at some shorter range models here. We'll go into the shorter range here, and I'm going to put this to the dew points and wind flow, and we're going to go look at the HRRR because the more immediate concern is the cold weather coming in that we're going to have. So I'll show you the Arctic front. So tonight, the wind's back maybe a little bit to the southwest, and then they shift more to the west as we get toward Friday morning and northwest. And then there comes that Arctic air coming in by the afternoon. Dew points drop to below 0 with northwest to almost north-northwest winds. And here we are on Saturday with this absolutely frigid air and these dew points that are going to be as much as 20 below to the north. So this is real Arctic air, and it's coming right from the north, by the way. And if we look at the temperature profile, you will see there could be some high cloudiness, unfortunately. But you'll notice the temperature profile again here, and you can see there's your kind of inversion there. It's not a really... It goes up to about 900, and then the temperature stops dropping with height. You'll see that really cold air coming in. So temperatures for tomorrow, we will get up into the mid-30s tomorrow. So that'll be like the last time we get above freezing, because by tomorrow night, the temperatures come crashing down, start 20s and then teens by 9 o'clock. And then by Saturday morning, we're in the single digits. Saturday morning is going to be absolutely frigid, even if it was sunny and clear. That's a little hard to deal with in the pines, to go deal with those kind of temperatures and be outside. There's going to be a wind chill as well. And then for Saturday, we're only reaching the teens. That's it. 15, 16, 17, 18 degrees. That's as high as we're going on Saturday. All right, and then Saturday night, the temperatures will drop again. Now, the HRRR is not showing the storm. It does not go far enough out to show the storm, unfortunately. So we can't really see what we have here. All we have is the high pressure here building in. And that's going to be quite a scene, I think, at the beach. Perhaps you might even see some sea smoke, which might be cool to see. And again, these are the soundies. If you're further to the north, you might have more of a likelihood of clear skies. Let me see, just for fun. Let's see how Boston is. You're a little bit better over there. Looking at these sounding. If you're in Maine, well, yeah, Maine will be clear, but you know how cold it's going to be in Maine? Anyway, so that's what the HRRR is showing. That's not going to take us far enough out. Well, let's look at the NAM 3. That'll be the next one we can look at as far as storms. And you'll notice some lake effect, too, over there, too. Still lake effect going. But this takes us into part of the storm now. The NAM 3 goes to part of it. So we are at 12Z on Sunday. All right. This is as far out as it goes, which is why I'm not making a forecast, because I can't without the short-range models. I can't just do it on longer-range models. I can go to the 12, which does take us a little further out. Okay, so here's the 0Z NAM 12, and you can see that's heavier snow in Sunday. And then, unfortunately, the NAM does bring in a little bit of ice and changes over to rain in New Jersey. We get the ice, and then here we are Monday morning still dealing with some of light mixed precipitation according to the NAM. And if we look at the snow totals on the NAM, you'll see it actually has Jersey higher, oddly enough, even though they have the mixing. They could be close to a foot. We would be around 8 inches, 9 inches, 10 inches, perhaps as much as 11 inches, according to this. Kind of interesting why it does that, why it has the higher amount over Jersey, even though it's having the mixing over there. It's just kind of interesting. FGen, this is another thing we can look at as well. And we look at storms as well, and you can see, take a look at that dark FGen, especially as it gets to Long Island. That's some real heavy snow right there. Might even be thunder snow. Who knows? Possible with this. And the question is, will we have blizzard conditions? I don't know if we're going to make it to that. But that is impressive right there. We can take it to the 850 as well. Take a look at the 850. Wow. Take a look at that. That is absolutely frightening. So right around if this would be absolutely torrential snow, that would be, you could be talking 3 inches an hour at those rates. So that's why it would pile up real quick. That is absolutely crazy. Let's look at the GFS. GFS, we don't have enough of the zeros in, but let's look at the GFS FGen as well. There it is. GFS has better FGen to the south, interestingly enough. That's the GFS at 700. Or is that it's the 850. This is the 700. Hey, look at that. Well, at the 700, it's good. And it's a good snow growth zone. So, look at that. Again, that heaviest snow is going to occur Sunday afternoon. Anytime between like 3 o'clock to like 9 o'clock. You definitely don't want to be outside. You don't want to be traveling when it's coming down like that, though. It'll be kind of cool to see. Maybe I'll try to take some video of it somewhere, but I certainly don't want to travel too far. But that is really impressive right there. That's the GFS. I don't think we get that product on the... Oh, we do get it on the Euro, too. So here's the European. Also, really impressive FGen. Take a look at that. That is really impressive. So that means some very heavy snow. Very heavy snow, near zero visibility. That's very impressive. I'm going to look at the 850. Here's the 850. So really, really impressive FGen numbers. Doesn't last a tremendous amount of time, but that's enough to put down in that one band. You could get 6 inches at least, if not more. So that's really, really, really impressive. I haven't seen FGen like that in a long time, for sure. So that is very, very impressive on the European end. And we go here to the to the precip rate, and you can see where that heavy snow would come down. That would be a very impressive burst of snow right there that would come through, and that would put down there's most of your storm right there, I think. So that really impressive. All right. Hey, look, the potential's still there. We're going to get over a foot. That's still a real potential. Not writing it off. I'm just not going to commit to it yet. It's too soon. I got to see more of the track. It all depends on what happens. So that's the European. That's the NAM. We have the RGEM, which is another model we could use as well for the storm. Here's the RGEM, and take a look at that dark blue that's over us. That is crazy. So that is some absolutely torrential snow right there. It's going to snow. It's going to accumulate so fast. That's like 3 inches an hour, all right? This is the RGEM, so the afternoon sun, and then you start seeing some mixing as we get toward the evening. You can see some mixing, but the RGEM keeps most of the mixing off to the south, and there is rain in Jersey. I tend to think that Long Island is going to get hit harder, a lot harder than New Jersey will. Right now, that's what I'm thinking. Total snowfall on the NAM, and you can see here it's got basically around a foot, and this is assuming 10-1. The ratios are going to be higher than that, so that is going to be it's going to be more like 15. All right. So this is the RGEM scenario. All right. So we will look at skies briefly because we do have to talk about the weather for the next couple of days as well. Tomorrow we'll have some clouds around again, high clouds, and then the question is Saturday. How much of this high cloudiness gets in? Probably more clouds toward the afternoon, probably. Won't be completely clear, which is frustrating because up to the north it will be. But it's going to be so damn cold out there that I don't know if I want to be outside for any extended period of time because we're going to have to talk about the wind too as well. And then obviously the clouds rolling with the storm on Sunday. We can look at the NAM cloud model as well. Here's the NAM cloud model, which is a little more encouraging for Saturday. That maybe we'll get to see some more sunshine, but it's going to be absolutely really tough to be outside on Saturday. Here's tomorrow. It's actually showing some sunshine tomorrow for a little bit. It's the NAM. So there will be some sunshine. On Saturday there will be some sun. I mean, there'll be sun. There may be some scattered clouds around. And we can look at some soundings on this too as well. Let's go ahead and look at the sounding here for 17Z, shall we? So you can see where the moisture is, and it goes all the way from here, 300 to them. So it's mostly mid-level, not so much low-level. So the clouds would probably be higher. Mid-level clouds would come in. Maybe some jet chunk. The high clouds could be pretty. I mean, they could be pretty. You've seen pictures of them that I've taken. So I can go back here. I can sort of go back and look at these pictures here we got here from yesterday. They can be pretty high clouds. See? It's from yesterday. The sky like that really looks nice. If you don't have the jet chunk, the jet chunk's the problem. So let's see what happens with that. That's one sky model. I don't really want to go over any more right now. It's really all about this cold weather that we're going to get. So let's go look at the Ventus sky first here. We'll go to the Ventus sky here and show you, just to, again, visualize what's going to happen tomorrow. All right. So you're starting off tomorrow. All right, it's not bad. It's in the mid-30s. Not too bad during the day. But then you get toward nighttime, and all right, it's 30 at 5 o'clock, but then we go to 7 o'clock, and look at that. In a matter of hours, the temperatures have dropping into the teens. Here we're at 7 o'clock, and that winds are picking up, and it's getting absolutely cold out there. So 18, 9 o'clock, we're dealing with 14 and 13. By 10 o'clock, we're dealing with 12. And this is not radiational cooling. This is a cold air. See, if the Yali doesn't get in the teens from this, I don't know what will get it into the teens. But this is cold air, and there's gonna be winds too as well, gusting up close to 30 miles an hour. And so that means a wind chill that's gonna feel like well below zero. So you'll definitely want to bundle up if you're out there. And then for Saturday morning, you're gonna be waking up, and it's gonna be 5 degrees, 7 degrees. It's gonna be absolutely cold, and then you throw in the wind with that. It's 20 miles an hour. It's going to feel like it's like maybe 10 or 20 below. So this is really, really, really cold, bitterly cold air. It's going to be difficult to be outside. And I don't know if I'm crazy enough to even... I mean, I'm going to go out, but I don't know if I'm crazy enough to try to hike in the woods. But at the same time, I kind of want to get a hike in before the snow kind of socks the woods in. So I don't know. But here we are. 14 degrees, 15 degrees. That's all we're getting up to on Saturday. And that wind is going to be absolutely just still. Actually, out east, gust to 25. HRRR, we can just show you the clouds. You can see a lot of high clouds here, unfortunately. You'd have to go well to the north to get into the clear air. Again, this might be different. It's very hard to forecast cloud cover with the storm that's still... The storm is still entering in the Pacific. It's still in the Pacific Ocean coming ashore. So... It's very hard to do. It's also moving very fast as well. But regardless, it's going to be absolutely frigid on Saturday. And when the storm's done, we're going to deal with more of this stuff. Just to give you an example here, here's Tuesday, only in the teens. So even when the storm's gone, you're going to have temperatures that are going to be... and snow cover... I think it's going to be a little more than this on the ground. But there's going to be snow cover. And we are in the deep freeze, folks, once the storm is through with us. And I also want to take a look at the storm itself and some of the winds that we may see from the storm. So let's look at Sunday here. And you can see some of these wind gusts here. Take a look at this. So some areas may need a wind advisory. And again, if winds pick up enough... The only problem here that I see here is, the strongest winds are out in Montauk, like 54 miles an hour, but the temperature is going to be above freezing, so chances are it would be raining there, so no blizzard warning. So I don't know if we're going to get a blizzard warning out of this, for those who want a blizzard warning. I know we haven't had one of those in a while, but we're going to have some stronger winds with this storm as the coastal gets going Sunday night. So there are going to be some winds, and we'll have to see if we have some need for wind advisories or anything like that. Here we are on Monday, wind gusts, and it's still showing some wind gusts here across the east end. So not a blizzard warning, maybe a wind advisory. Temperature's still showing above freezing, but I think as we get toward later in the day, that's when the temperatures drop, but the winds also do drop. So, and this is Ventus Sky. We are using the Icon here, the Icon model. Let's go to windy.com. So I'm trying to cover all bases, all things. This is a very long weather video. All right. So here we are for go to winds, wind gusts. We're going to look at the winds for the storm. And by the way, winds tomorrow night too are not going to be. I mean, look at these gusts here, 34. Oh yeah, look at this. Where are we going to get? Are we going to possibly need a wind advisory tomorrow night? Oh, I don't think so. We'll come close. But for Sunday, the storm might, and definitely might. So if it's snow, you might need a blizzard warning if it's snowing at that particular point. But where the winds are the highest is where it's going to be the warmest as well. And then it kind of moves away. We can also look at the effects on the water. Not like anyone should be out in the water in this. I'm wondering if Fire Island ferries would shut down for the storm because the conditions will be so bad. Let's go to waves here. Just show you again. We will probably have some rough oceans for a little. Yeah, we will have some rough oceans. So, yeah, 11 foot. Yeah, that's definitely going to be quite an event. The clouds. I'll just go over to the clouds again for tomorrow. Showing you again. This is what it's showing for Saturday. So this has been a little volatile, going back and forth here with the cloud cover. But it's possible, at least over Suffolk County, maybe we can have mostly sunny skies for a little bit. So we'll have to see how this all pans out for the Saturday. But Saturday is going to be cold. There's going to be sunshine, increasing high clouds, and then this is the frigid air before the storm comes in. So, but hey, that's what we got going on. The last thing that I'm going to talk about here in this weather video is looking at sea surface temperatures and how that could impact our storm here. So let's look at sea surface temperature anomalies here. You notice there are above normal water temperatures along the west coast, and also in the Pacific, and this could help fuel the storm and give it more energy as well. Above normal temperatures in the Gulf, and like a mix of above normal temperatures. The Gulf Stream seems pretty hot, but then we have cooler water here. But all this stuff could help, especially intensify the coastal. But this is what I mean. People will be like, oh, yeah, there's no global warming. We're getting a big snowstorm. Well, actually, the warmer than normal oceans help fuel the storm. So if the oceans weren't so warm, the storm wouldn't be as big or intense. So you're wrong, dumbass. But those are the same people who still support you-know-who. Not going to mention his name. We all know who I'm talking about here. So anyway, and there's again a satellite of our storm. So that wraps up this long weather video, and tomorrow night I will release preliminary snow amounts. I think we can do some preliminary amounts and see what it is. Right now I'm still sticking to the 6 to 12, but if the GFS proves more, the GFS track seems to be if the models shift more toward that, and that's what it looks like, then I'm probably going to have to raise it to like 12 to 18 inches, at least for Long Island. So we'll have to see what happens here. But hey, we are long overdue for a snowstorm, a big snowstorm. And the last time we had a polar vortex like this, we also had a snowstorm as well. And maybe I'll go over those statistics the last time we had this kind of cold weather. Maybe I'll go over that tomorrow night. But anyway, you all have a good night. Stay warm. And be careful if you're outside. Just bundle up. I don't want to see anyone wearing shorts. I see people wearing shorts in this cold weather. They are crazy. Have a good night.